All right, 2 fact-based films are available for viewing this week.
Yes, here to review Emily and Jesus Revolution are film critics Pam Powell and Chuck and Pam. Okay, who's doing what?
He's Emily.
You're Emily?
Ooh, you want to start with Emily?
Do Emily, yeah.
We enjoyed the interview yesterday that we shared.
Yes.
Interesting concept. Yeah, interview with Frances O'Connor, the writer-director of Emily. First film that she's written and directed, and an impressive debut, to be sure. Now, I know that you all of you loved reading Wuthering Heights in high school or college when you were required to. Well, this is about how that book was born, or how we think that book was born. We don't know much about Emily Bronte. She dies at the age of 30, and most of the historical facts, and I'm using air quotes there, were passed down by her sister, Catherine, who was quite jealous of her. But the filmmaker says, okay, well, if she could write a book like Wuthering Heights, where does she get her ideas? Well, she gets her ideas by hanging around on the moors, which are always oppressive and dark and, you know, just full of nothing but bad things. And also, she must have had some sort of love affair if she could write a tragic love story. And this movie imagines that perhaps she had a love affair with that guy, William Waitman, a young curate or pastor who comes to be in the village where she lives. Well, this love affair they embark on, it doesn't end well. But really, you know, it wasn't really supposed to, as we well know. You can see from the film, it's dark and it's well shot. We have this perpetual overcast thing where, you know, the moors play an important part as to what's going on as far as how it affects the characters, how they interact with one another. Movie drags a little bit in the middle, I'm not going to lie, but it's really interesting, and it had me brushing off my copy of Wuthering Heights at the end, which is what the director, I think, wants us to do. Because, you know, I always wonder about people, where do you get your ideas when you're painting something or writing something or making a movie? What's your inspiration? And Emily tries to answer that question about one of the seminal pieces of English literature on the big screen. You have to go to the theater to see this, and that's where you should see it.
Oh, okay.
Interesting.
All right, up next we have Jesus Revolution.
Jesus Revolution. Wow, I was shocked at how much I enjoyed this movie. I went into it thinking one thing, and I came out of it thinking something else. It's based on a true story, as well, as Chuck alluded to in the intro. It's about a revolution that took place back in the late 60s, early 70s, the height of the Vietnam War. A lot of things were happening back in that time period, along with hippies. Hippies were all around. And there was one man.
You were a hippie, weren't you?
I absolutely was. I had my bell-bottom jeans and my leather satchel. Lonnie Frisbee, played by Jonathan Rumi, he looks a bit like Jesus, and that's what they want you to think. He shows up at the doorstep of a pastor whose church is dying. Attendance is really down until he opens his doors and does what Christians, I guess, are supposed to do. Be open to everybody. These hippies come in, and boy, oh boy, that changes Chuck Smith's life, who was played by Kelsey Grammer. He finds that, yeah, he's getting toward the time of retirement, but maybe he can have a positive impact on the world after all. This is a relationship movie between Lonnie and Chuck, as well as a sweet love story about a young man named Greg Laurie who comes into and starts believing in Christ. I know this sounds kind of sappy, and it could be sappy and over the top like a lot of these movies are. This is not. This is, they take the true facts, they elaborate on them, they tell the story in an entertaining and authentic way. I really enjoyed it. I wasn't anticipating that I would, but I did, and I think you did too.
I do not like faith-based movies because they tend to beat you over the head.
Yeah.
They're so obvious. This one, though, like you say, it's much more subtle. You discover the message. I ended up liking it too. I was just as surprised.
Yeah.
Good
Very
movie.
good.
It was.
Both in theaters.
Yes.
Okay, what's coming up tomorrow in the morning show?
Cocaine Bear.
Oh my God.
Cocaine Bear.
Seems like a different note.
Yes, yeah. This is fact-based as well, believe it or not. Yes, I'll
Tune
be
in tomorrow.
Heading out over there. I'll be seeing it here at 5 o'clock. We'll see what I have to say about this tomorrow on the morning show.
Okay, can we also, I saw a little snippet of Pam's interview with the actors in Outer Banks. That's coming next week. Because it dropped tonight, today.
Yeah,
season 3.
Drop today. A lot of fun. Great interview with these 2 young boys.
That'll be awesome. Can't wait to see it.
They were cute.
Oh, we know, Heather. Don't have to tell us. Awesome. Okay, well. Well, for more reviews and witty banter, check out The Real Talk with Chuck and Pam, their YouTube channel for video reviews and segments, or go to their website for links to their weekly podcast, and of course their Facebook page is awesome to keep up with all the fun stuff that they do.
I have to say, though, they got nothing on Chuck Kaplinski over here.
There you go.
Okay? There you go.
That was really nice of you, Heather.
Chuck has at least 30 years on him.
All right.